Hello, my name is Scott Davis. Welcome to New World Birth. This is the weekly neutrino forecast for June 1st to June 7th of 2014. Human design is a synthesis of four ancient wisdom systems as a bridge to understanding our potential to discover our path and making decisions that are correct for us as individuals. And those traditions are astrology, the I Ching, the Hindu Brahman chakra system, and the Kabbalistic tree of life. So let's take a quick look at how these systems work together. First of all, we look at the sun, the planets, the nodes, and the earth and the moon in the wheel, much like we would in astrology, except instead of looking at them in relationship to zodiacal constellations or to each other by the angles that they make, we look at them in relation to these hexagrams of the I Ching, which are these stacks of 6 lines around the outside of the wheel. And then those hexagrams are mapped to specific locations here in the body graph. On June 1st, we have the sun. As you can see, it's in Gemini. It's in the 16th hexagram, and we can see the stack of lines denoting it down here, and they're numbered from bottom to top. And this one goes yin, 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 yang, yin, yin. And the 16th hexagram is mapped to the 16th gate of skills, enthusiasm, the great art of enriching life by the harmonic channeling of energy. And it's located here in the throat center in a collective logic energy path in the understanding circuit called the channel, the wavelength, a design of talent that connects to the 48th gate of depth, the well, the necessary qualitative foundation that is a prerequisite to establish the common good. And I've found human design to be amazingly accurate in in describing the person. So it's my primary tool that I use in providing readings. And so we have the following gate activations on June 1st. We have the sun in the 16th gate. We have the earth in the 9th gate. The north node is in the 50. The south node in the 3. Mercury is in the 15th gate. Venus is in the 27. Mars in the 48. Jupiter is in the 53. Saturn is in the 1st gate. And then we have Uranus in the 51. Neptune in the 37. And Pluto in the 38. And both Pluto and Saturn are currently retrograde. So obviously not every gate activation forms a channel, but this information can be really helpful if you know your own human design chart, because some of these transits will form channels with potentials in your personal body graph. And you can get your human design chart by going to jovianarchive.com and clicking on the button that says get your free rave chart, and then you just enter in your birth information. So the neutrino forecast is just really a weather report. And no matter what the weather is, your individual strategy and authority is correct, the correct choice to make in order to have an authentic experience regardless of what the program is bringing. As Ross said, whatever the weather's going to be, you have your neutrino umbrella. As long as you're experimenting with your strategy and authority, the weather is for your pleasure. So as we begin this week, we have 2 channel definitions. We have the sun up here in the 16 and Mars in the 48. So we have this channel of the wavelength, the design of talent, and it's with us just for the very beginning of the week, into the June 1st. And this is a collective logic channel, which for those folks who have this in their chart is about reaching some level of mastery through practice. And the channel is about caring skills as well. So given how short this time period is, and that it's defined from the program, it's really hard to consider exactly how it might condition people. But it might have folks who are more engaged in in repetition of some type of creativity to make gradual improvement. Collective logic creativity is different from individual creativity in that this is creativity that's earned through hard work and a commitment that is shared with the collective, whereas individual creativity is about empowerment in the now. And for those of us who do not have a splenic definition here, Ra actually has warned that we might let go of something that is good for us when this transit defines our splenic center. And then we also have Venus in the 27, and with the north node in the 50, and this is the channel of preservation, and it will be affecting us until June 4th. The conditioning aspect of this channel is for those of us who do not have it as part of our design, is to maintain or change the values of people in your community during this time period. This could be a time when folks take on much more responsibility and they lose sight of themselves. People might likely focus on nurturing and guiding those in need, particularly children. Since the north node is part of the definition of the channel, we might look at our environment to see if we observe these themes of values being established or undermined, being played out in dialogue or in action, which may even involve attempts to bring those who are outsiders into a community. For those of us who do not have the splenic definition, like I said, this is a time period at the very beginning of the week when we have to be a little careful about letting go of something that is good for us with that definition, according to what Ra had said in the past. So we're going to be looking at the sun's Rabe I Ching line values daily, because 70% of the neutrinos we receive come through the sun. And as Ra Uru Hu said in Design Perspectives number 56 in his presentation titled Living with the Program with Ra Uru Hu, The Lines of the Day, when he was talking about these daily shifts of line values, he said we can always take advantage of the themes of the day. Obviously, if your strategy and authority does not lead you in that direction, you can just notice how the program is affecting others in your environment. So let's get started. On June 1st, the sun begins in the 6th line, the line of the role model of the 16th hexagram, and the sun in the 16/6 is gullibility. The susceptibility to propaganda, exalted, the ability to experience, examine, and then reject misleading enthusiasm, the talent to access the expression of others. Detrimented, the same principle as the exalted, but to painfully withdraw its enthusiasm for social structures, permanently prejudices, the failure to access the expressions of others. And Ra talked about 6-line days, not to get stuck with your head in the clouds, because you'll end up having something bang into your kneecaps. It's a day where there's a real lack of focus on what's going on around you, because folks are looking beyond their environment, immediate environment. And like 3rd line day, there are certain dangers, such as not seeing a car coming, not seeing a bill coming. But later on the 1st, the sun moves out of the 16th. So this definition goes away, and also the Earth moves out of the 9, and the sun moves into the 35 over here. And the Earth moves to the 5. And gives us this definition of rhythm. So we've got the Earth is in the 5th gate of fixed rhythms, waiting. And this shift happens at 7:13 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And all the times I'm going to give you are Eastern Daylight Time, so you want to convert them to your local time zone. And then we've got the sun over here in the 35th gate of change, progress. By design, progress cannot exist in a vacuum, and it's dependent on interaction. And the sun in the 35-1, so we're down here in the first line now, of a new hexagram, obviously, is humility. The ability to accept rejection, exalted the artist that accepts rejection as part of the process. Acceptance of change and rejection as part of the process. Detrimented, a self-destructive reaction to rejection, loss of worth, change and rejection as humiliation. And now that we're in a new hexagram, we're dealing with the first, second, third lines to begin with. Those are when people are looking more inward, they're more absorbed in their own process. And the theme of the first line, so here from the line of the investigator, is fear or anxiety that needs to be investigated, needs to be looked into and researched. So this is a day to study, not to act. It's a day to look into things, not to jump and make things happen. It's a day that deal with things you don't understand and make sense of something that you don't know. And again, with the Earth in the 5th, and we have Mercury up here in the 15th, we have the channel of rhythm, a design of being in the flow, and it will be with us until June 7th. During this time period, people may feel like they're in their own natural rhythm. So if your world seems chaotic, you might want to examine whether you're following your strategy and authority, because this energy influences us to effortlessly be in the flow. People may align with deeper patterns of life. This definition may also influence folks to sense of rhythm and tempo through their attunement to their environment, moving from fixed to changing rhythms and back again. And then on the 2nd, the sun moves into the 2nd line of the 35th hexagram, and this shift happens at 6:42 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The sun in the 35-2 is described as a creative block, lack of inspiration, which stops progress. Exalted attunement with the vagaries of the muse and recognition. Creativity is energy that ebbs and flows. Creativity and the muse will always come and go. Detrimented, the need to take action, however mundane, to overcome feelings of emptiness. Actions being uninspired do not further progress. The need to change and the fear of stasis. And then, okay, so now we're in the 2nd line. The 2nd line day energy is people are waiting for something, waiting for a call. They might be stuck in what's going on in their own little world. So it's really not a great day for a large social event because people may not really choose to come for that. And then also on the 2nd, Jupiter moves. And Jupiter moves from the 53rd hexagram to the 62nd. Here, into details. Jupiter is in human design is generalized law, the electromagnetic central operating theater for the way in which the solar system operates. Living by the law can gain great fortune. Activations in our human design chart tell us the law that we must live by when we look at where Jupiter is. To benefit from the generosity only comes from deep obedience to honoring your own law, your strategy and authority. And Jupiter in the 62nd gate of detail, preponderance of the small. Jupiter enters into the first line of the 62nd because it's moving direct, which is routine. It's exalted the ability to transcend the boredom of routine through a rich, daring fantasy life. The ability to organize through fantasy. Detrimented rebellion and its enormous waste of energy. The need to express, need for expression, which ignores the details. And then on the 3rd, the sun moves into the 3rd line. So we've moved from the hermit line up into the martyr line here. And the third line, the third line of the 35th hexagram transition that happens at 6:11 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, where it's detrimented. The sun is detrimented in the third line of the 35, which is collaboration. The whole greater than the sum of the parts. Detrimented, the need to be the center that ignores the importance of others, the need to be the center of progress. And third line days are days to be careful on the roads, be careful of what's in your environment, whether it's a door swinging or somebody unaware of where they are in their personal space. It's a day where you might have bonds made, or you might have bonds broken, or you might have a bond made and broken in the same day. Third line days are about a trial and error, and things bump into you. It's a good material day. It's a good day to do business and work on the material plane, but you have to be careful because things can go wrong. But those things that go wrong are there to lead you towards to discovery. And then on the 4th, the sun moves into the 4th line, the opportunist line of the 35th hexagram, and the shift happens at 5:40 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The sun in the 4th line of the 35th hexagram is described as hunger, the insatiable appetite for progress, exalted, the drive may be obsessive when the moon is full, but like the fading moon, obsession abates. Change for change's sake. The drive lessens with age. Detriment, the abuse of position to accumulate perks with an inevitable retribution from those unfairly deprived. The drive for progress that will ultimately step on the toes and lead to recrimination. In 4th line days, this is where we change. We move from the lower trigram to the upper trigram. We move from personal to transpersonal when we get into that opportunist line. And so we're moving from an inward perspective to more looking outward. 4th line themes: friendship, companionship, networking. 4th line days are great for social interaction. People are more open to networking, to being friendly, or social. And also on the 4th, Venus moves, and Venus moves out of the 27, and which means the splenic definition goes away, and Venus moves into the 24 up here in the azimuth center. Venus is about sort of a moral dilemma that you're going to work with in your life, and so what we're looking at is Ra described it as morality, natural law, that in which we deal with the other and the consequences of the world around us. And he was talking about what disturbs you on a moral level. Well, your design and personality Venus is telling you about a moral dilemma that you're going to work with in your life. So if you don't act with a moral clarity, Venus can be unkind. And in the 24, Venus is about rationalizing, it's returning, the natural and spontaneous process of transformation and renewal. Venus is also moving direct, so it comes in the 1st line of the 24, which is the sin of omission. Transformation that requires retrogressive periods before renewal can take place. Exalted, the will to triumph, and in this case, the faith that the ends justify the means. Inspiration that demands a reassessment of past thinking before a rational concept can be established. Detrimented, self-delusion, which unnaturally justifies periods of regression. Inspiration that leads to an irrational focus on what is past. And then on the 5th, the sun moves up in here into the 5th line, the heretical line. Again, we're still in the 35th hexagram and gate. This shift is at 5:11 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The sun in the 35.5 is described as altruism, the sacrifice of personal for communal progress, exalted the principle of interaction and harmony communicated successfully for the benefit of the whole. Progressive communication that can bring beneficial change to the whole. Detriment, though are altruistic and cooperative in general, a personal regret that in interaction a greater personal expression had been lost. Positive communication, but always the sense that personal progress has been sacrificed. And now, fifth line days, this is a heretical day. It's a day of suspicion, a day of universalization, where something can spread very quickly, whether it's a video or on a YouTube or something that is just getting a lot of hits on Facebook or any of the social media things. That's what we would see with on a fifth line day for universalization, something like that, where something spread rapidly like a virus. But it's also, there's a great deal of suspicion and paranoia on fifth line days, which can impact the nature of our relationships. Also, projection and seduction are themes of fifth line days. And then on the 6th, the sun moves into the 6th line, the role model line, again, 35th hexagram. The shift is at 4:42 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The sun in the 35/6th is rectification, the energy to correct, exalted, the process of crystallization coupled with ambition that assures timely and effective correction. Progressive change that results in correction. Detriment, a destructive tendency that in its personal application may be necessary severity to ensure correction, but when applied generally, it may meet with resistance and tend to reinforce rather than rectify situations. A correction which brings change through severity and even destruction, and will always meet resistance. So 6 line days, again, Ra talked about, that people are looking beyond where they are. They're not to get our head stuck with our head in the clouds. We might miss something that's coming. That would be important for us to notice. And so just kind of being a little more aware of where are other people and how are they responding to that 6 line energy. And then on the 7th, the sun moves from the 35 into the 45. And so the Earth also moves out of the 5, and it moves to the 26. The 26 here. Coming into this channel, connecting over to the 44. We've got the Earth in the 26th gate of the egoist, the taming power of the great. This shift happens. Let's not forget that there's no longer a defined sacral center. Thanks for reminding me. So anyway, this shift happens at 4:12 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The sun in the 45th gate of the gatherer, gathering together, the natural and generally beneficial attraction of like forces. The sun in the 45, and now that we've entered the new hexagram, we're in the first line, of course, of canvassing, exalted the ability to promote and develop gathering together through education of the uncommitted. The material direction lies in education. Detrimented is an overzealousness that turns canvassing into proselytization and tends to alienate rather than support the drive for material that leads to aggressive education. And again, so we're back into the first, second, third line, lower trigram again. So shift is now more personal, inward focused. And again, the investigative line is about having an anxiety that triggers a need to investigate, to study, to research, to find out information. So that's what that energy that brings in at that point. So the sun continues to move through the 16, 35, 45, which are associated with the Lakshmi God's head. This is the second God's head of the quarter of civilization, which is really the most yin location in the wheel. It's the feminine, the mother, the birth of civilization emerging from the womb. The goddess bestows the qualities of civilization. But the energy of it is that it has, the program has really put focus on the work being up to the female. So we really did talk a lot about Lakshmi last week. Quarter of civilization. Again, all of the throat gates are associated with the quarter of civilization. So thinking of the Tower of Babel, they couldn't communicate with each other, so they couldn't build a civilization. So obviously, the definition of the throat, and those gates are very, very important for how we communicate in order to build our civilization. Basically, no matter how these energies are conditioning you during the week, just remember that experience is really about just being a passenger, riding in the vehicle, driven by the magnetic monopole. So enjoy the scenery, let the vehicle take you where you need to go through using your strategy and authority. Every day we have is a blessing, no matter what the dramas are that are beckoning to distract us. We're all just giving the performance of our lifetime on the world stage. Just take some time out to observe the play as well as act your part by remembering you're a spiritual being that's having a human experience. And we here at New World Birth would like to thank Sharon Jorgensen for her contributions over the past 2 years in proofreading, suggesting topics to feature in these videos, and as an extra set of eyes reviewing charts for readings. So we want to just let her know that we wish her the best in her new adventure. So thank you for checking out New World Birth. The next segment of the weekly neutrino forecast will be for June 8th of 2014. It should be available on the 7th. We'll continue to look at the influence of the heavenly bodies as they transit through the sky and the hexagrams of the I Ching. You can check us out on Facebook, Blogger, or YouTube. All three of those places have New World Birth pages. I encourage you to share this information as videos or text as widely as you choose. And I will be discussing the transits of June 2014 and providing some short 10 to 15 minute human design readings to the participants of the Earth Needs Rebels show on Truth Frequency Radio on Monday, June 2nd. The show starts at 1 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, p.m., but I come on 1:30, it goes to 3, and I invite you to come and check it out. You can just text information to Katie, and she'll get your chart information to me, or you can back message her, and she will and give your phone number to her, and they'll call you for free anywhere on the planet to bring you on the show and get a short reading or ask questions about what we've been talking about. I invite you to contact me at newworldbirth@yahoo.com if you have any questions or wish to schedule a reading. If you've been thinking about getting a reading, please contact me. I'd love to provide you a reading during these uncertain times. You'll need to be able to either call me in Maine or in the USA, or we can connect with Skype to receive your reading. We're also accepting donations to keep these reports freely available. Best way to make a donation, get a reading. Then you get something great out of it, and it helps keep New World Birth going. As always, I'm blessed that you've taken the time out to connect with my passion for all of these ancient mysteries and their application to our journey during this incarnation. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste, in Lakesh, and as Ra would say, love yourself. And like I said, I hope to connect with you either on the radio show or in a reading, of course, or just in future videos or on the different blogs. Anyway, peace, everybody.